This exam application tutorial is on the topic of resistance. The question reads, for 6 marks, explain the shape of the voltage current graph for a filament bulb. So here's your filament bulb voltage current graph, and really we're saying explain the shape of section A and then section B, because that's where it changes. Don't worry about the negative region because it's exactly the same explanation. All it means is the current's now flowing in the opposite direction. So initially, as you increase voltage, current increases. What that means, that word, it means at first, and it's a nice way to start answers relating to graphs. And this is because the electrons have more kinetic energy. So we can see here that as we increase the voltage, the electrons start to move faster. Here's a description for the graph. The relationship is directly proportional, or obeys Ohm's law. In other words, it's a straight diagonal line. So what that means is if you double the voltage, you double the current. There's a proportional relationship. So we've explained section A, but now we need to talk about this bit. So as voltage continues to increase, the increase in current gets smaller. So be aware that the current's still increasing, but not by the same amount. Every increase is less and less. So the increase in current gets smaller. And this is because there are more collisions between cations and electrons. So you can see that as we basically heat up the wire, the cations start moving faster and there's more collisions. So if there are more collisions, this will increase the resistance in the wire, lowering the current. So you can see now it's moving really quickly and the electrons can barely move. So if we take that again, when the wire's cool, electrons can move easily. They transfer heat as they collide with the cations, so now the cations start moving because they're hotter, so the current slows down. And more heat's released during the collisions. Now the cations are moving really quickly and the current is very slow. Remember, when you're explaining a graph, you're describing what you see, for example, directly proportional, but then you also have to give a reason for what you see. For example, the electrons have more energy, so are moving faster. You could talk about heat in this answer, but you don't have to get the 6 marks. It's more important you relate the idea to increased resistance in the wire, and that's why current slows down, and the resistance is caused by the collisions.